So hello again, Elegant Edits Print Society. So this will be another tutorial. We are going to be editing these layouts in order to fulfill this order for some jerseys. And you guys will start seeing a lot more basketball jerseys and stuff coming up here in the future. And so we are ready to jump into this thing. Again, this is all organic. I just want to show you my process. I may get some things wrong. You may be a better designer than me. I don't know. But I do enough to get by. And so instead of just doing these layouts and getting out of the door and getting started with our work here at the shop, well, I'm at home actually now. It's somewhat early in the morning here. But I try to do some of these things before I leave to go into the shop so that I can really focus and I don't make a mistake on what we're trying to accomplish. So let's jump right into it. This is going to be the logo that we designed, which is something quick that they wanted done. But they've kind of switched the color scheme around. So we had a black or blue background and a white background because the jerseys are reversible. So that makes our job even harder, um, even more tough, rather. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to simulate these colors, but I want to start with the correct colors of the layout. So this is to simulate the what it's going to look like on white. And since the jerseys have holes in them, even though this is not white, this is obviously black background, I think I do want to print the white ink so that the jersey holes don't show through on some areas of the design. So everything that's supposed to be white here should be filled in with the white. So what I'll do is hit the Z tool to zoom in. I'll copy these here and I want to Control C and Control F. Let's paste in front. The outline is selected here on the side, so we need to select the fill. We're going to select white. And actually, let me Control X to remove that. And because it did that, I want to create another layer instead. So Control F. Okay, so that fixed it. There we go. So now, if I toggle this color layer, that shows up as it's supposed to. Now, we need to also be certain to fill in this because this is negative space here. So I want to select, yeah, I can do this. This is fine. So I want to be careful and select each outline on the inner side. And if you can't see that, I'm selecting this inner outline because I want to make sure this is white so that the holes of the jersey don't show through. I'm also looking for void areas, which that's okay. And I'm holding Alt and Shift and then the space bar to select the hand tool. All right, that's looking good so far. And we're going to do the same thing that we did in the logo. All right, this is a little tricky because now we have a D. So I need to also select this inner hole as well. So in all of the letters like the O's, D's, and A's, and R's, we need to also select that inner square. Okay, so I don't want to make this too complicated. So now we are going to copy this again and Control C. Now I'm going to create another layer underneath this layer and then Control F. And now I'm going to select the white layer. So now even on a white jersey, something went wrong here. Let's check out and see what, oh, I didn't select this. So all I would do in this scenario is I would take this here, Control C, click on the actual deal. Control F to paste in front. Select this white layer again, and we're using our Pathfinder tool to minus the front. And this is still there. Okay, cool. So now we can just delete that. And the same thing happened with the R, so we need to be careful with our artwork. And the same thing actually happened with the B. So select, Alt and Shift, minus front. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, this must be behind it. So Control X, Control F. We need to minus that. And I didn't plan on doing all of that, but this is kind of part of it. So we need to subtract it from this blue layer as well. All of these layers that set in front of it will need to have this done to it. So Control X, paste in front, Alt and Shift, minus. Now we need to do the white layer, paste in front, Alt Shift, minus, and that's good to go. All right, same thing, Alt and Shift, Control X, Control F, Alt and Shift, minus, and white layer. So Control Shift, Control F, minus. Can we just move this now? Okay, cool. So that was the same as the other one. So now we can save this. This will be for the white side of the jerseys. Now, there's white ink and we're printing on white, but again, these aren't t-shirts, these are jerseys. So I don't want the little holes to show through beyond. I hope you can understand. So I don't want those holes or the jersey knit uh, holes to show through the lettering. I want that to be white ink. So now that we have this, I don't know how well this is sized. Let's just see where this sets at. And this is right at around 10. So that'll be okay. I just don't want it to exceed 11 because we have some smaller jerseys and we want this to be good for all of them. So we're going to save as. The name of the team is obviously Blue Thunder. So we're going to create a new folder and I'm just going to select Final. And that's so I can keep up with, so everything doesn't get all convoluted. So we'll say Blue Thunder front, white fronts. I'm going to save a new AI file. We're not going to export as a PNG or anything like that because some of you be excited to know that we're sending this to the 7890 today. Okay, so that's fine. And we're going to create a separate AI file for that just so that nothing gets lost in translation. The other side of the jerseys are going to be orange. But actually, what I need to do first so that I don't have to do all of this later, let's find out from this chart. Here are all the sizes. I hope you can see. See, okay. But I have written down the actual uh, numbers and letters that go along with the charts. So let's open this file because again, the ICC isn't in yet. We don't have a profile ready yet for the 7890. So what I need to do is actually pull the chart, the color chart, and I already did this at the shop. I probably should have recorded it, but I'll probably show you once I get there. It'll be different, but we'll get it done. So we need to go to, and this is a new computer, so I'm having to remember where my file trees are. ICC target. So now, oh no, that's wrong. Let's see if we can see what we're doing. It's a lot better. Let's just select both of these. And so our orange color is going to be on chart 6. Okay, so now this will probably be this one at the bottom. Okay, page 5, page 6. So this is going to be chart 6, row H. Right, this is 6, H96. Okay, so that should have been G basically. I don't know why I said 8. So we're going to take this eyedropper tool and create this square. And this will now be our orange. Remember, we need to also check the color mode. It's in RGB. That's good. That's what I print in. I'm not trying to start a war here. That's what I print in. So Control C. Let's go back to that's the main logo. That's the other one that we will be borrowing from. So white fronts, Control V. I know these oranges seem close, but they are not going to print that way. So now what we need to do is we can delete this one, drag this to the trash can, and select this orange color. This is our new one. So now I want to hit A on the keyboard or select the direct selection tool, Control Alt, I'm sorry, Alt and Shift, and click. And now it's going to select the old color. So what I want to do is go to select same fill color. It's going to highlight all of the other orange in the layout. Now we want to change it to this orange. So now when we send it over to the 7890, it's going to show the perfect orange that's going to near perfectly match the jerseys. Very important. Because they're reversible. So we want the colors to match. So this is now the orange that we're going to use for all of these layouts today. And I wanted to get that out of the way first before we start creating multiple files and copies and having to do it later. We already have a profile for it. So now we need to grab this royal color. So the royal color, if I've selected it carefully, it should be chart 3, which should be on the same chart as 6. So I guess we don't need this one. Okay, so chart 3. And this would be column H 40. I know this doesn't look royal, but this is what the printer showcases. So, and we'll also run one test and make sure these colors are correct before we print the entire yard. So I'll also be showing you how to set that layup and gang everything within this design in case you don't know how to do that. So eyedropper tool, eye on the keyboard. We're going to create another box and it's going to create that color. Control X. We can close this out now. Okay, so now we can go and Control V. These colors look way off, but that's just what it's going to be. Okay, so now we are going to drag this over. We can remove this blue file because we're done sending proofs to the actual client. So they'll never actually see this and complain about the colors. So we're going to do the same thing, A on the keyboard for the control command, direct selection, Alt and Shift, select, same fill color. Okay, these aren't the same fill color. So let's just hit I, or actually, oh, these aren't even the same. So select the fill. So that's the new royal color, or what the printer is going to think is royal. So since these are separate colors, we'll select this one. No harm, no foul. Same fill color. Now the rest is selected. Make sure the fill is selected. And we're using this. So now this is our royal and orange color, as funky as it looks here. This is it. So now let's save over this, because again, the customer doesn't know any of this. So all we're trying to do is produce accurate colors, even though they look weird on our monitor. This is what we have. So this is our new setup. So we're going to select this for and flip these colors for what's going to be on orange, since they chose to change the color of the jerseys. They were supposed to be blue and white. They changed them to orange and white. So we already have the layout set for our white. This is the layout set for the orange. So now let's see what we sent them. Okay, so this was supposed to be blue. We probably can, okay, this is outlined on white. Actually, so let's open this one. Yeah, let's open that one. Okay, so all white, basically. And then, oh, with the blue inlay. So what I'll do is, but it's going to be on orange, so I don't know how I should do that. Yeah, I'll still keep the blue. That'll be nice. It'll be more contrast in it. And again, we're thinking on the fly. You have to be able to do that when you print, because people tend to change their minds, and that's okay. So this is white front, so let's get this here. Actually, I could have just placed this image, but we'll just copy it in. But how you do that is you go to File and Place, and I could have just skipped that entire step. Okay, so what we want to do is actually flip this, so let's a little bit different here. So let's, everything that is, we can change the B later. So let's select same, no, fill color. Deselect the B. Now, everything that is this bluish color, I'm going to make this easier on me actually. I'm going to change it to an entirely different color, and I'll tell you why here in a second. Because these will be harder to grab. So now I'm going to actually zoom in and Alt Shift, and then I'm going to select everything that's white. Now it's going to also select this down here, which I don't want. So we're going to, while we're holding Alt and Shift, deselect these, because I only want what's inlaid here. And we're going to change this to our blue color. So I can eyedrop blue. Now, the reason why I changed that to an entirely different color was because had I just changed it to white as we intend, it would have selected everything. And we wouldn't have been able to distinguish the difference between these two colors, because everything would have been white. So that's just an insider tip there. So now we're going to select the brown, same fill color, and now we can select white. So we have now duplicated this, but for use on the orange color. Now, I think we also need to create this outline. Let's make this white. Alt and Shift, selected everything. And we need to make this white. This is still blue. So what color are we going to do? We could probably do the orange B. We still have our orange color. And then the T could be blue. Yeah. Or should I flip it? Yeah, because it's still orange. Hmm. Uh, Man, see, that's different. So what if I do, I'm gonna switch this up. Let's say I do the blue color and then orange tea and then the blue or the B. The B is white. Let's see how that looks. Still doesn't look good. So let's go back to what we had. Yeah, can't, sometimes we can't change it. So that's okay. And what we can do is actually flip this around to where this is now white. And then this color could be, what do we have here? Yeah, because that's orange. Or I can make it blue and leave that white. Yeah, let's do that. I like that idea because there's already enough orange. So let's do just the blue color. Well, we can keep that orange because DTF we can get a lot of, uh, but it's the wrong orange. So I almost made a mistake here. There we go. This is the correct orange. I think that looks okay. I'd wear it if I were on a basketball team. Okay, so let's delete this. Now we have our selection for orange. So Control Shift S, or you can go to File, Save As, which Control Shift S. Always try to look for the keyboard commands because that'll help you. So that's orange fronts. And so this is so we don't get confused because I'm going to run different yards of material based on the fronts and the back so that we just keep everything tight. So now we have been assigned the task of creating the numbers as well. So I have all of the numbers here and I need to make sure they're sized appropriately. And we're going to also use that same color profile, or not profile, but uh, the same color scheme with these swatches. So the best way to do that is actually to create what they're going to be on. And what I mean by that is to do new. I keep saying that I'm going to fix this and I forget. So let's go to rulers. Okay, so it is in inches. Now let's see, new, or I could have just done it there. So we want to actually change the units. And we need a custom sheet because this will be to output for the 7890. 24-inch width printer. So we want to not exceed those bounds. So 23.5 and make it 36 inches, which will be a yard. I don't have a commercial shaker and powder machine or anything like that. So I don't want to run an extremely large print and then run into an issue where we actually touch the print or it hits, rubs against something. So we're making this easier on ourselves. So it's 23.5 by 36. RGB color space. We don't want these colors to shift around. And we want to, once we save it as a PNG, we want it to be saved at 300 PPI or DPI, however you want to say it, pixels per inch, dots per inch. So this is our 7890 canvas, if you will. So now we will go and select this. This will be for the orange fronts. So now we'll take this, Control C to copy, Control F. This is appropriately sized for the front of the jerseys. The only issue I'm saying that we may have is because now that they want this logo to be on the front, we still need to find space for the number. So I'll get with them on that because it will be impossible to put everything, as it sits on this. So we'll sort that out later. But for the sake of the video, we'll go ahead and set this up for the numbers. So we want to go ahead and borrow these colors right from the start. Direct selection tool. Okay, so now we don't want to overwork ourselves. I've already selected this for, I can close this out. So now we can go to, we can close this out as well. I need to be able to see everything. So these are layouts that we did for another local team here, friends of mine, good friends, family of mine. So now I'm going to select this, and this represents the number that will be on the front. This represents the number that will be on the back. So it'll be up to them to let me know how they, where they want to mount these things. And since the layout's so large, we may put the numbers on the front side, and we need to change this color scheme. So now we need to click the outline, and these are for orange front, so we should go with probably blue and white. So the white needs to be, we have the bluest outline, so we might as well keep that same flow. Select the inner stroke, or the fill, and we need to rotate this so we don't get confused here. Yeah, see, I don't know if they might do it like that, kind of off to the side. I don't know. That'll be up to them. So what we are trying to do is create this setup to where we can easily change it if they change their minds, or something happens that way. And I can find out the best way to lay these out later. I'm not really concerned with it right now, but we'll figure it out. Because I can always scoot these in there and print 2 runs, because it's all about time at this point. And what I can do to make this easier for us to see is select a layer, or create a new layer, drag it to the back, and we now have our orange color. So we want to take the fill off of this, select it, orange, because these are for the orange fronts. Create a box, and we'll do the same thing we did with the other layout so that we can see what we're doing. Okay, let's lock this layer so it's not sliding around everywhere. And this is what we're looking at. It's like the Miami Dolphins or something. I'm not a really big sports guy, but I know you're thinking it if you are. Yeah, I think that's good. We got a little contrast. I could see what it looks like if we flipped it. Man, I kind of like that better. It has more visibility. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's flip these around. Okay, so what we're doing here is I need to go by this chart. So we need a 23. Now, see, this changes things. So you're working with a little less space. Okay, so now what we can do is create a little bit of space in between these letters. So how I would do that is I would go to character, and let's start with 0. Still a little too close. That's okay. And this is pretty good scaling in terms of the ratio, with however you want to scale it up. And we can do that. We can actually create a little bit more space for ourselves here. Okay, so I'm gonna save our work, and we'll say orange fronts. We'll just say orange layouts 1, because we may end up with 6 of these by the time we create all of these pages. So this is in the final folder as well. And now what we're going to do is simply highlight everything. So that's V for the selection tool, or you can click and drag. Many ways to do it. hold Alt and Shift, and we're going to move this down here. And we can actually give us a little bit more space if I wanted to, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So that we can get at least 4 layouts per one, and that'll help us figure out where we are with our margins. Or we may find that I can do an entire layout where I print, 8 or 12 of these, or probably 8 of these Blue Thunder layouts for the full chest here, and then we print the numbers on another sheet. But for the sake of me showing you how to do this, this is what we'll be using, and I can make those minor adjustments once I make it to the shop. So that's at least my mindset behind it. So next number, they need an 11. See, this 11 takes up less space, so I may end up doing the numbers like that, where we just cram the numbers in, trim them up, and we're done with that, to where we're just wasting time. So what happens if I flip these around? Okay, that's good, because we're not using the type on tool. So let's do that. Select everything. Now we can rotate this around, and we free up a little bit more space. It's going to be a pain to trim these, but we can still fit more on the sheet. So now from this point, all we need to do is select everything again, drag it down. If we were going to make things simple on ourselves, give us a little more space to where when this comes off the 7890, I could just come with scissors and trim it here across, and then work my way through the middle of these. So that we could do it that way. Give us a little bit more space in between the two. You do the same thing here. And at least I have a rubric, if you will, just kind of like a measure to start with. So let's change these numbers, 11, 11. What's the next one? 1. That's super easy. Yeah, I'm going to put the numbers on another sheet. That makes more sense. Okay, so now we are going to type the number 4 for the next one. And if I wanted to, this could be it. But we're going to utilize all of that space. And then I will create the layouts for the whites. It'll be the same process that we did, only the color, the number, the color scheme will flip just a little bit for the reversible. So that's 4 locations of prints, but we need to press 8 times because of DTF. Press, cold peel, press, cold peel, press, for each side. So we'll take you guys along for the ride. Thanks for tuning in for this, and how I will I'll show you how to export to. So let's save over this. This is orange layouts 1. I would need to minimize or to hide this layer. Save as, or no, I'm sorry, export. I was working in Photoshop earlier. You can do save as and do a PNG in Photoshop, not Illustrator. It's kind of frustrating. So export orange layouts 1. If I wanted to, I can make this easier for me later, and I can say numbers 23, 1, 11, and 4, so that I can easily pull the files and know what's been printed or not. We'll just keep it as orange layouts 1. We don't want to select use artboards because it will actually, the 7890 will advance that extra inch or two in order to print basically essentially an entire yard. But if we can print shorter than a yard within those bounds, we can save the actual film, space on the film. So orange layouts 1, PNG, save, and then resolution still at 300, and transparent background. This is ready to go. I'm amazed at how fast this is. This is a large file. Even when it's parsing it in ACRORIP, it's a lot faster. So if you're wondering whether you should get a new fast Windows 11 whatever computer, I would recommend a gaming laptop because it's we're in the arena now. When you're dealing with a large format printer, you need that extra RAM, or at least 16 gigs of RAM on your computer if you can upgrade it. So that's going to do it here for now. We'll switch over to getting ready and going to the shop and finish this up. And then I'll show you guys the printing process and everything. We'll run a test on the 7890 to make sure these colors are accurate before we go and finish doing these other things. And we'll be back soon. And as always, stay elegant, Print Society.